Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today for this eVisa and share code guidance workshop. We will be taking you through quite a bit of information today. We are recording the session, so if your internet does drop or you do want to watch any sections back, we'll be able to share a copy of the recording later as well. Now, you will be able to see some buttons on screen that you can interact with us panelists with. You've got a chat button. Please feel free to use the chat to talk to each other. And if you've got any questions for us panelists, please put them into the Q&A, just because the chat moves quite quickly and we want to make sure that we don't miss any of your questions as well. So just to give you an introduction of who we've got in the room, my name's Kat. And I'll be taking you through some of the introduction slides, and we've also got a quiz later.
Hi everybody, my name's Jess and I work with Kat in the international office, and I'll be supporting you with the Q&A later on and getting all of your questions answered.
Hi everyone, I'm Gabriel Rosario, also known as Gabe from the Student Immigration Team, and I will be taking you through the basic information about e-visas and how and why you're going to need those going forwards.
And hello everyone, my name is Helen Seckington. I'm the team leader for the student enrollment side of the Student Inquiries and Enrollment team, and I'll be here supporting all the others and talking you through a little bit further about how generating share codes are required and necessary and all that it entails as well.
We're going to cover what is an e-visa, how to access your e-visa, support with your UKVI account, share code for Hearts registration. We're then going to go to a multiple choice quiz. Nothing to worry about. We're just going to check if there's any bits in the session that you might have misunderstood or how your understanding is. So keep an eye out for that as well. And then we're going to go to Q&A. So I'll pass to Gabe now, who'll take us through a bit of the information.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Kat. The intention of this workshop is to take you through, as Kat said, what an e-visa is and why they're going to be relevant for you whilst you're studying with us in the UK. Kat, if I could have the next slide, please. So, what is an e-visa? And an e-visa is a new concept for the UK. It's been used with some visa types in the past, but it's now being brought out for all visa types, and this is why it's going to impact all of you when you come to join us in the UK. Next slide, please. So your e-visa is going to look like the image that I've included on the right. That is how you will see your immigration status once you've logged into the View and Prove service. And that is also the immigration status that will be seen by anybody that you give a share code to. So the share codes will differ slightly in the information that they show, and these will be used for different purposes. But that is something that I will cover later, and when we go over the different types of immigration status share code that you can generate. This share code and digital visa system will be replacing the old biometric residence permits, or BRPs, as a method of proving your immigration status. So unlike people who have joined us in the UK previously, you will not receive a BRP card. You will instead create your UKVI account and generate share codes to digitally prove your immigration status for anybody that needs to view it. Next slide, please. So the reason the UK government has gone digital with their immigration system is three-tier. The first is that they cannot be lost, tampered with, or stolen. This is the primary reason that the UK government has decided to move digital, and it is so that there is no longer a risk for you as individuals that you may lose or have a BRP card stolen, which will save you the cost and the time of replacing any visa documents, as all of your documents will be stored online and free to access. It is also much harder for these documents to be changed or forged, as the eVisa service pulls information directly from UK VI databases. So there is no way that anyone could create false visas or fake immigration share codes, as they will run directly through Home Office websites. The second reason is that you will not need to wait to collect a physical document after your application is decided. This has been a key benefit for students who are obtaining e-visas instead of BRP cards, because when you travel to the UK, it means you can get started with life straight away. There is no need to wait for a BRP card to be printed and become available at any destination, be it either a post office or the university. You can simply create your UK VI account if you have not done so already, and log into the View and Prove service to access anything that may have previously needed a copy of your BRP card. This includes bank accounts, renting property, registering with the university, and many other processes that would previously have required proof of your visa. The lack of physical documents also makes it much easier for your documents and your visa to be corrected if necessary. Previously, if there was an error with a BRP card, it would mean an online report had to be submitted and a new BRP card would need to be printed and delivered, which would cause delays for anyone who had a mistake on their BRP card. With this new digital visa system, once you have reported the error, it is a relatively quick turnaround, usually within 5 working days, for the error to be digitally corrected, and all you need to do is generate a new share code to share the corrected information with anyone who needs to access your visa documents. The third reason is that it will be quicker and easier to prove your status in the UK at the border, making it much easier and faster for any kind of travel into and out of the country. This will hopefully reduce your stress at the border, as we understand for international students coming to the UK for the first time, and even for the second, third, fifth, 100th time, traveling can be a stressful process. At the border, the idea of an e-visa is that all you have to do is scan your passport and it will automatically register with the Border Force officer to show all of your visa information and that you have entry clearance to join us in the UK. This should also hopefully reduce queues and other issues that have been affecting travel and airports recently. Next slide, please. When will BRPs come to an end? If you have previously been in the UK, or if you know people who have been in the UK to study with us or for any other reason, they would likely have a BRP card that expires no later than the 31st of December 2024. This date only came into fruition in 2016, so those who had visas granted before that date may still have documents that are valid beyond then. However, this is very uncommon, and it should still be replaced with an e-visa at the earliest opportunity. It is highly recommended that anybody who already has a visa creates their UK VI account before this date. Obviously, most of you will be joining us in January, so you will never have had a BRP card, and all you need to worry about is creating your UK VI account as early as possible once your visa has been granted. Next slide, please. How do you access your eVisa? So the first thing you need to do to access your eVisa is create a UKVI account. Next slide, please. That is the link on the screen to get to the web page where you will complete the process of creating your eVisa account / UKVI account. Next slide, please. This can be easily found by going into any web browser and searching for the word eVisa. This should be the first link that appears, and it will take you to this gov.uk website where you can begin your process. This process will require you to have a handful of documents on hand, and it will also likely require certain levels of technology, which I will cover in the next slide. This is where the process of creating your UKVI account begins. If you have seen this page, if you are searching it up, all you need to do is scroll down and select Start Now, answer the questions, and provide any information or documents that are required as part of the process. This may differ slightly for each individual that is undertaking the process, but all of those questions should be relatively similar in terms of providing basic information about yourself, about your international travel documents, and about the visa that you are holding. Next slide, please. What you will need before you begin the process of creating your account is your passport. This will be the physical document. It is not possible to use a copy or a picture for the full process. You will need either your unique application number, or if you have previously been in the UK, your BRP number. Your unique application number is the number which begins with GWF and can be found on a sticker on the back of your passport, as well as on your application receipt and other documents that are sent to you from UKVI once you have submitted your application. You will also need a mobile phone to complete the process. Apologies, my light has gone off. There we go. You will need a mobile phone to complete the process. This mobile phone will need to have the ability to read computer chips within your passport or other identity documents. This usually requires either an iPhone 6 or above, or an Android phone that is on Android operating system 8.0 or above. There are some Android phones which are not capable of completing this process because they do not have the ability to read these digital cards. You will be able to identify this by going into your phone settings and checking to see if you are able to use contactless payment from your device. Next slide, please. As part of the process, you will need to download the UK Immigration ID Check app. I have included a screenshot of the web-based version of this on the App Store, but it will look very similar when you are looking this up on your phone, either on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store or any other application store that you may be using. The purple logo that you can see on the screen will be the one that you are looking for to identify whether you have found the correct app. And the UK Immigration ID Check is the name of the application, you can see there that it is also hosted and created by UK Visas and Immigration. If you are completing this process from a mobile phone, it is most likely that the phone will link you through to the App Store at the stage in the process that it is relevant for you to download the app. If you are completing it online using a computer, it is likely that the web page will give you the option to connect your current application to your mobile phone using either a QR code or an individual code that you can type in to your phone. Next slide, please. How long will it take? The creation of your account, on average, takes roughly 20 minutes. This may take longer depending on factors such as your internet connection, the phone that you are using, and how easily your documents can be scanned. It should not alarm you if the process can take up to an hour or 2 hours, as it will depend on how quickly you can receive security codes, as well as how quickly your web pages load. The linking aspect of your account, on average, takes 1 or 2 hours for your eVisa to be linked to your account once the entire process has been completed. However, during busy times, and this will include January as the start of term, especially as there will be lots of people already in the UK who will be expected to also be completing this process at that time, it may take 24 hours or more for your account to be linked. In some cases, it has taken up to 1 or 2 weeks for the eVisa to be linked. So do not be alarmed if it is taking a long time for the process to continue. It simply means the systems are busy and it is taking time for the process to be completed. Next slide, please. Where do I find support and how can you get help with creating your UKVI account? Next slide, please. On the page are some links to certain websites that will be able to provide you more information about eVisas, as well as assistance with the eVisa and UKVI account process. The first one is the Ask Hearts website. This is created by the student immigration team at the university, and it will include all informations for both current and new students on what an eVisa is, how it will help you, how to generate one yourself, and how to find further assistance if you need it. There are also other options, such as the UKVI website, which is also linked through Ask Hearts, which will have all of the government information on exactly how the process should work, and any assistance links that may be relevant to you. If you are facing problems with your UKVI account creation, it may be necessary to use the UKVI web chat function. This can be found by the link below or by searching for eVisa web chat help. If you search for this and get put through to the page with the web chat, you can speak live to a member of UKVI who will be able to walk you through and fix any problems that you may be having with the creation of your eVisa or UKVI account. If it cannot be fixed, that's simply through the web chat. They will provide you with all of the information on what you need to do next to have that problem resolved. The university is also in the process of creating a step-by-step video covering exactly what you need to do in order to create your UKVI account and to generate your share code. The share code the share code video is already available and will be linked to on a future slide. and we will inform you all as soon as the step-by-step guide to creating your UKVI account has been completed. Next slide, please. As I mentioned previously, this is the University of Hertfordshire video on how to generate your share code. You will only be able to do this once your visa has been granted, once you have created your UKVI account, and once you have linked your eVisa to your UKVI account. But it is this process here, generating a share code, that will allow you to prove your immigration status to others, as well as to the university. Next slide, please. Share codes are a 9-digit code that will be used via the Home Office website to share and access your immigration status with third parties. Once you have generated a share code, it will be valid for 90 days. You can generate a new one whenever you need to. There is no limit on the number of share codes that you can generate, and that applies to all of the types of share code that you can generate. There are 3 different types of share code that you can generate. A right to rent share code. This will be used for any renting agreements that you will have with your landlord or with an estate agency. A right to work share code, which will be shared with your employer, and it will give details on the working conditions of your visa. And a right to study share code. This is also known as a general share code, but for the purposes of the university, we will refer to it as a right to study share code, because this is the code that you need to provide to us when you are completing the following processes of registration that my colleague Helen will go over. Next slide, please. I'll now hand over to Helen Seckington. Thank you.
Hello, all, and thank you very much, Gabe, for walking us through share codes. My section here, I will just talk to you about how after you manage to set up your eVisa and generate your share code, what you do with it, because most importantly, to register you as a university student at the University of Herts, we really need a copy of that share code so we can check the validity of your visa before we allow you to register. So, Kat, if you can move on to the next slide, please. Oh, one back. That's it. If I think that's the one. I think my connection was a bit dodgy, so apologies if I slow down slightly here. So what I have put on the screen just here is part of our registration process. So let me talk you through how it will work, because I know I can see some questions popping into the chat as well regarding how it begins. How do you actually enroll at the university on your course? So to begin with, you'll have to wait until 40 days before the course the start date of your course. So everyone's courses might actually start slightly different dates. I believe that one of my colleagues, Jess, has already put into the chat, answered one of the questions with a link to the official course start dates. So it will be linked to that course start date that specifically for you yourself. So from 40 days before that start date, you will get an email from us inviting you to register at the university. In this email, it will tell you what your username is, and it will ask you to click on a link to allow you to set your password. This process is really important because we can't accept any information, including your share code or any of your documents, without you having set up your university account. This process will take about 30 minutes to sync across all of our systems. Following that email, you'll get a second email that will then tell you to follow the link in the email and make it to your joining portal. So I've popped in on the slides there, that's a screenshot of one of the processes that we request that you get through. So after setting up your UKVI account and creating your eVisa, which you can do after receiving your CAS and being able to apply for your visa, you'll then be able to set up your your eVisa and be able to generate a share code. And so after you log into your joining portal, we've got a screenshot of it on the screen, you can then submit a copy of your share code into our system ahead of your arrival. Now, it's really, really important that we get you to set this up from home. Like Gabe has said previously, it can take up to 24 hours to link your eVisa. And as a consequence, we'd really rather not you arrive late if there are delays to your visa, and then have to turn you away in person if we can't generate your share code. So please, one of the big things I will push on here is please, as soon as you have your visa issued to you, please apply and set up your eVisa online and start generating your share codes. So this is one of the steps you'll have to do, which is upload your share code. The other key one will be start your online registration, complete your online registration, and it's basically a questionnaire. It will ask you to confirm your name, the course, your date of birth, and then it will ask a load of very personal questions, things like your home address, your term time address that you expect to be staying at. And these are really important. So the university has something on file. We need to know your emergency contacts, and there'll be some questions about where you want your career to go, what your ambitions are, if you need any additional support as well when you make it to the university too. So those are the two key areas that we need you to complete from your home country. You can even do it on the plane on the way over here, as long as you've got Wi-Fi or data on, but this is a screenshot, so it will tell you exactly what you need to do. And I'm just going to highlight on this screenshot exactly what it says. So this is requesting you to confirm your immigration status by providing a share code. If you're visiting the UK for 6 months or less, you will not need to provide a share code. But as I understand it, everyone on this call will be on a student visa, and you will be required to provide a share code. If you have not set up your eVisa before arriving on campus, we cannot guarantee you that you will be able to complete your registration that day, as it can take up to 24 hours to set up your eVisa, and you may be asked to return to complete your in-person registration at a later point. Now, after completing all of the online aspects that you can possibly do, and that will also include uploading a identity card photo, it means that you've ticked that process off. As international students, the next thing that you will need to do is arrive in the UK and then attend your booked appointment. So you won't be able to book an appointment until you firstly upload a share code, and secondly complete your online registration. So if you're stuck and you can't get through these screens, please reach out to the university. We have the Ask Hearts team at the end of the phone all the way up until I think the 24th of December, and then we're back here at the very beginning of January as well. So if you receive your emails inviting you to start your online section of registration, please do engage with them. The international team are here to help as well, but we will be at the end of the phone, at the end of our emails as well. But you will not be able to book a face-to-face appointment until you complete those 2 steps. So everyone on the call, it's really important you do. And then we look forward to seeing you in person in January when you arrive in the UK with all your belongings as well. I think, yes. You'll need to do those actions from home. Like Gabe has already said, to set up your eVisa and your UK VI account, you'll need your passport and you'll need a phone which is modern enough to support the processes. It's, I believe, an iPhone 6 or newer, or an Android 8.0 plus, and you'll already need to have your visa issued. Otherwise, you can set up your account ahead of time, but you won't be able to see a visa in place. So please wait for your visa to be issued, but please do this process before you make it to the UK. I think that's everything on this slide. Kat, would you mind moving on to the next one, please? Many thanks. Now I've included just a very nice photo of what to expect, because I know that as you're currently abroad, likely in warmer climate than we are in the UK, it's hard to know what to expect when you will land in the UK. We're hosting face-to-face, so in-person registration at the Learning Resource Centre on the College Lane campus. This will be where your face-to-face appointment location is. This is where your appointment will ask you to head towards. You will need an appointment to complete your registration. We're on campus, so we can help, but it is really important that you book your appointment before turning up, because otherwise we may not be able to help you that day. And I've just included a photo of what it looks like outside, so you know what to expect. And on the left-hand side, at this appointment, you will receive both your identity card and your and yes, and you'll be signed off and ready to go. And I've also included a photo of the hoodies that we've got below. You won't be able to get this at your appointment, but after you become a fully registered student, you'll be emailed directly to collect your free hoodie as well. And they are very snazzy. So do book ahead of time as well. So this is what it looks like. Kat, are you happy to move on to the next one? And the very last thing is I've just kind of summarized it here. So there are some required actions for all of you guys. Please look out for your registration emails coming. But to ensure you register smoothly, I'm just going over it once again. Set up your UKVI account and link it to your eVisa as soon as you receive your visa decision. You can do this from your home country. You can do this before you board the plane, and it would be really useful for us as well to ensure you have a very smooth registration. You'll only need your passport and a mobile phone to do this. You submit your share code as soon as you can in your joining portal. So after you receive your enrolment emails, there'll be links on there to submit this. And you'll need to complete your online registration as well. And then following that, the very last step you need to complete is book your in-person registration appointment. And then you are very much good to go. At your appointment, you will need to bring your physical original copy of your passport, so the passport that you've come into the country on, and we need to see you in person as well. So please don't leave that at home. We'll need to see a copy of your share code, which you should have already submitted as well, and we'll be able to register you that day. One of the lovely things about our registration setup is we have a team of very experienced casual members of staff who have done enrolment over quite a few periods of time, and they are there to answer all your questions as you sit down at the desk. So if you have additional questions, which I'm sure Kat and Jess and the international team will equally answer on these types of pre-arrival webinars. But if you need to talk to a single person during your registration appointment and have questions about accommodation or how to use Canvas or our systems, where to go to catch a bus, all of the colloquial useful information that you might need on campus, all of our registering members of staff will be there to support you and answer your immediate inquiries as well. I think I'm sorted there. I don't know. Okay, Kat, would you like to move on to the next slide, please?
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Helen and Gabe. Really useful information in there, everybody. Now, I know that there's been some questions already in the Q&A asking for a copy of the recording of this session so you can digest the information. Yes, we are recording the session, and we hope to be able to share a copy of the recording with you over the next week as well, so you can watch it back. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little bit of an interactive quiz. Please don't worry, it's multiple choice answers, but it's just so we can check your understanding of some of the eVisa and share code information that's coming in. Now, we're going to use a platform called Menti. This is also really good practice because when you're in lectures at Hearts on campus, the tutors will sometimes use this platform to do quizzes in class as well, so it's really good practice. So all you need to do is go to menti.com and input that code. Now I'm going to put the code in the chat as well for you, and then we'll go through the quiz together. And like I say, please don't worry if you're not sure about an answer, just have a go, and then we'll be able to go through the right answers with everyone as well. So let me just get up the Menti slides now. Okay, brilliant. I can see some of you have joined in already, so let's have a look at these together on screen. Excellent. So we can see a few people have already answered this first question. So the first question on our Menti quiz, what is the name of the app that you need to download for your UK VI account ID check? So you've got three choice of answers. You've got UK immigration ID check, eVisa ID check, or Hertfordshire ID check. So if you do want to join in with this quiz, it's multiple choice. Don't worry about if you do get the answer wrong. This is just a learning exercise for you, so that you can check your understanding and we can check as well. So please do feel free to join in at menti.com. There's about 6 questions that we'll go through with you all, and use that code at the top of the screen there as well. So I'll just give a few more minutes for everybody to join in who wants to, and then we'll check the answers and we'll move on to the next question. Okay, so let's reveal the correct answer, shall we? Okay, so everybody who said UK immigration ID check, you were right. Well done. You've been listening during the session. Those of you who didn't, please don't worry. As we say, it's all new. It's brand new for people who are joining us in 2025. So it's just a chance to read up a little bit more. So we'll check the next question now. So next question, how long should it take for your UKVI account and eVisa to sync? So immediately, up to an hour, up to 24 hours, or up to 48 hours. So again, feel free to join in, multiple choice question. Which one do you think is the right answer? Okay, excellent. It's great to see so many of you joining in as well. And like I say, good practice for when you're in your lectures on campus as well. Okay, so I'll leave that up for another moment or two, and then we'll have a look at the answer together and move on to the next question. Okay, so I'm going to reveal the answer now. So it's up to 24 hours. Might happen a bit faster than that, so I can understand why some of you have put up to an hour or immediately, but it should usually take up to 24 hours. So that's why, as Helen and Gabe were mentioning, you will need to make sure that you've sorted all this out before your registration appointment, before you come to the UK. Ideally, we'd say set this up once you've got your visa confirmed. Okay, next question, everybody. So what type of share code do you need to generate for registration at Hearts? So as Gabe mentioned in his slides, there's 3 types of share code. There's the right to work, right to rent, and right to study. Different types of companies will need these share codes. So which type of share code do you need to generate for your registration at the University of Hertfordshire? Brilliant. So we'll reveal the right answer now. I think quite a lot of you have got this one right, so well done. And it is the right to study share code. And next question, how long are share codes valid for? So 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days? What do you think? Again, lots of answers coming in. Okay, brilliant. I think a lot of you have paid very good attention to this webinar, so well done, everybody. But I'll reveal the answer now as well. And yes, 90 days. So they're valid for 90 days. So yeah, you shouldn't have to regenerate them too often, as long as you keep access to that UKVI account as well, which is why we've said make sure that you do set it up with an email address and a password that you know and remember and have access to, just so that it keeps your access there. Next question, how many times can you generate a new share code? So as many times as you need, every 90 days, or never. You can only generate each type of share code once. So let us know what you think for this question as well. Okay, perfect. And then we'll reveal the answer to this one as well. Lots of answers still coming in, so thank you for your participation. But the correct answer is as many times as you need. There's no limit. So if for any reason, even if that 90-day period hasn't passed, you've still got a previous share code, you can generate a new one at any point if you do need to. And the last question for our mentee is a little bit different, more feedback for us on the panel as well, but how confident do you feel about accessing your eVisa? So this is just a bit of a scale for you. So you might feel very confident, still a bit unsure, worried, or very worried. Again, there's no wrong answer. It's just so we can get a bit of an idea on how you're feeling about the new process for eVisas and share codes. So if you can give us a bit of feedback on there, that would be brilliant. Okay, That's great to see. So a lot of you are feeling pretty confident about it, which is brilliant. Some of you are a little bit worried or unsure. We are here to help. So we've got a lot of resources that Gabe and Helen mentioned. We've got the guidance videos as well. We do link a lot in our pre-arrival guide. We'll be sending you emails if you haven't already received those. And also take the time outside of this session to read through our pre-arrival guide pages. We've got a lot of step-by-step information on eVisas, share codes. We also link out to that support information that we've mentioned as well, and the government pages, which try and take you through everything step by step. But if you're still unsure after that, do reach out to someone. We're all happy to help. You can speak to your in-country rep, your agent, us in the international office. And we'll also be sending you out those watch-along videos soon once they're ready too. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, everyone. That is the end of the Menti. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Q&A and answer some of your questions live. So thank you for staying with us.
Thank you so much, everybody. That was brilliant. I really enjoyed that quiz that you all did, and you did really well in that too. And thank you so much, everybody, for all of the questions that you've been submitting during the webinar. I'm going to ask the panel some of the questions that you've submitted to us so we can get some of those answered for you. So, Gabe, I've got quite a few questions all about e-visas. So a student has said they have already received their visa, it's been approved, which is brilliant news. Do they apply for an e-visa once they're in the UK or prior to that? So I know that you covered discussing e-visas and linking those to UKVI accounts, but you're able to go through that a little bit more for this student, Gabe.
Thanks, Jess. So you can generate your UKVI account and get access to your e-visa as soon as you've received a decision on your visa application. So in your case, as you've confirmed to us that you've received your positive decision and you've got your visa, you can now use your application number and your passport to create your UKVI account. You don't have to be in the UK to do it. You can do it today if you want to. We recommend that you do it as soon as possible. The earlier, the better.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Gabe. People have said, Gabe, that they're actually having issues with linking the e-visa to the UKVI account, and just kind of wondering what advice that would be. Is there advice from the UKVI that people could gather, or do we have advice from the university for these instances where there's some issues?
There is advice on the Home Office website that I showed you earlier, as well as on the Ask Hearts page. There are some steps that you can look at and some places that you can go to access assistance with linking your e-visa to your account. There is also the web chat that I mentioned earlier to speak directly with a member of UKVI if you're having technical problems or if something isn't working correctly for you. If it gets to the stage that you are in the UK, then you can come and speak to somebody from the university and we will be able to provide you with some assistance on accessing your e-visa. I know we're training up the Ask Hearts team so that they can provide you with some assistance, as well as the student immigration team and the inquiries team and the enrollment team, sorry, will be able to answer some questions if you need to ask them when you've reached the UK.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Gabe. So lots of places where people can get support if they need to as well, which is absolutely brilliant. So absolutely support on the UKVI, UK government website, and then also at the university as well, which is always good. It's a very supportive place, the university too. Helen, I've got some questions from students that joined yesterday in relation to registration. So a few of them have said, will we receive an email once registration opens, so once the online process opens? And then also, how do we book face-to-face registration appointments?
Happy to answer that one. So just to give you all a bit of background, depending upon your official course start date, only from 40 days before that start date will you begin to receive your registration emails. So it can differ slightly between all of you. So anyone on a law course currently on the course, on the call, I believe you have an early starting course date. I think it's something like the 6th of January. So you'll receive your beginning emails for your registration process from 40 days before that course start date. So just count back on your fingers and you can work it out that way. There may be some things that will delay the emails coming through, and that will be if a CAS is yet to be issued, or if there are some untidied up areas in the admissions process. Sometimes there's just final checks that need to be done by the team. So there may be some slight delays, but if you don't receive anything, probably about 20 days before your course start date, please reach out and get in touch, and then we can get on and start working out what's going on with the account. What I would say is yes, so you're going to get registration emails. The first one will ask you to set up your University of Hertfordshire username and set your password. After you do that, you'll get an additional one that will point you towards your joining portal. Your joining portal will host all of the very important steps that we need you to complete abroad before you join the UK, and that will be generating your share code. And to generate a share code, like the panel have said, you need to set up your eVisa, and that can take 24 hours to complete, which is why we'd recommend you doing it abroad as soon as you get your visa issued to you. And the second most important thing is doing your online registration. There is support, like Gabe and Jess and Kat have said, in the UK at the university when you arrive to complete this. But if you are on an early starting course, we would really encourage you to engage in the process as much as you can. Ask a brother, a sister, your mum or your dad, auntie or an uncle, whoever you know is tech savvy and can understand emails quite well, or equally who might have a new and modern phone that they can lend to you to set up your eVisa on. You don't need the same phone that you set your eVisa up on as well. That's a very important thing to say. You just need to borrow one for 25 minutes or so, and then you can hand it back and they can delete the app. So after linking it to the app, that's how you set up your eVisa. That's the crucial element to do. As soon as you've done that, it can take 24 hours for the eVisa to officially email you back and go, yes, we've set it all up and you can now generate share codes. So after you complete everything on your joining portal, an additional to-do box, so a call to action will pop up on your joining portal and allow you to book your face-to-face appointment. Your face-to-face appointment will be here in the UK at the University of Hertfordshire at our Learning Resource Centre on the College Lane campus. You'll need to attend on the time and date that you have chosen for your booked appointment. And at that appointment, we will complete all our final registration checks. We'll do a manual check of your passport to make sure everything is up to date and correct. It verifies your identity, and then we use the share code you've provided us to check your immigration status to make sure you've got enough time to attend the course, which you should. And if there are any errors going on online, it gives us and the student immigration team an opportunity to support you and provide all additional advice that you may need. Now, like Gabe had said previously, eVisas are notoriously impossible to fake, which should protect you. And I know that from a international team's perspective as well, the welfare of our students is most important, especially when you're coming to the UK for the first time. And we don't want things being stolen or lost. We want to protect that time that you have at the beginning of term to settle in, make new friends, which I can see you're already doing on the chat, and get to know people as you attend your appointment as well. So those are the most important things. I hope that kind of cleared up registration a little bit more as well.
Good. Thank you so much, Helen. That's absolutely brilliant. Someone else has asked, Helen, how many days will face-to-face registration be open for international students? I'm guessing this depends on when it's their course deadlines, the registration deadline and things like that.
Yeah, so like you said, Jess, it will really depend when your last date to register is. Now, the enrolment team are permanently on site across the year, but like Jess has already said, if you're on a specialist course, especially one starting early, you will have a limited time to complete your registration. So it's what we'd encourage you is to land as soon as you can, as soon as you get your visa. I'd say come to the UK as long as you've got accommodation in place and you're ready to come, basically. But please check out our University of Hertfordshire website. I believe it's under the pre-arrival guide, and there's a page called start dates, and you can have a look for your specific course start date, and on the same page there is the last date to register for your course. So we will be on site until mid-February, but I would really, really push you to double check that last date to register, just in case you don't land in time, and then there'll have to be another conversation. But we won't think about that just yet. Check out the page, and yeah, arrive nice and early if you can.
Absolutely great advice. Thank you so much, Helen. Gabe, I've got a few more questions for you in relation to setting up UKVI accounts. So a few people have said they only have a first name. So what should they input for the last name into the UKVI account? And then a few other people have said, which address should they use? Can they use their local address when setting up the UKVI account and then update it when they're in the UK? And same with phone numbers as well. So I'm not sure if you're able to give us advice on that as well, Gabe.
So the first question regarding your names, if you've only got a first name, the UK government will only be able to register this in the same way that the university is, as a surname, because a surname is a mandatory field for your visa. So when you're inputting this information, you'll have to input it into the surname field. Although this won't impact your visa, that's just how it has to be read by Home Office systems. Sorry, Jess, could you repeat the second question for me?
Yeah, of course. The second question is, a couple of students have said they have got local addresses and then local numbers. Do they add those details in when setting up the UKVI account, or should they wait until they have their UK, address and term time address and mobile number? Are they okay to put in their local details and then update it later down the line?
Yes. So when you're creating your account, all that you have to do is make sure that you have access to those addresses and those contact details at the time that you're creating it. If your details then change later down the line, so when you move to the UK and you get a new phone number and a new address, you can edit these details through your account. And all you have to do for that is log into the service via the links that will be provided in the email once you've created your account. And then there is a link once you've logged in to update your details, and you can change anything and everything that you need to there once those details have changed for you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Gabe. Absolutely brilliant. And Kat, I've got a question for you. So a few students have said, does the university recommend students having the meningitis vaccine? I know that we say if students live on campus, is that something we'd recommend? But you're able to go through that with us at all?
Yeah, absolutely. And great that you're kind of looking into this as well. Yes, if you are able to get that before you travel, please do so. We do recommend it. If you can't get it before you travel, once you've signed up to the medical centre on campus, you will be able to get your vaccine there. But in all possible cases, please do try and get it before you travel, just so that you're all set and ready to go once you arrive in the UK.
So thank you so much, Kat. And everybody, I've put that in the chat as well, the link that we have. So let me just give that details for you as well, just so you've got that to everybody. Especially if you're living on campus, it's a really, really good idea to do. And like Kat said, you can get it in your home country or you can get it in the UK as well. I can see, so we've answered lots of questions. Kat, do we have any more time for any further questions?
Yeah, I think we've got time for maybe one or two more questions and then we'll need to wrap up, everybody. But thank you so much.
Fantastic. So, Helen, I've got a student and they've said, can I come to complete the face-to-face registration before my course start date? We've got a real organised student here. I like the sound of you.
Absolutely, and the more organised, the better. all you need to do is complete those 2 stages on your joining portal, complete your online registration and be able to submit your share code, and you'll be able to book your face-to-face appointment. And yes, do attend before your course start date. We are on site and face-to-face. In-person registration opens from the 8th of January. We will be there. We'll be raring to go. We're looking forward to seeing you as well, but the earlier the better. I think probably one of the elements which isn't linked on here is that the earlier you are a registered student, the earlier you get access to all of the systems that you will need, like your timetable, to support your education as well. It will give you early access to your modules and anything provided to you by your program leaders as well. So do please join us early if you can, as soon as you get your visa and as soon as you have accommodation to arrive in. And yes, the earlier the better. We're looking forward to seeing you on the 8th.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Helen. Absolutely great advice. Kat, I can see a few people have said they aren't able to find their course start date within the pre-arrival start date guide. So I know that we've got some courses that are earlier, so they're, you know, quite clearly specified. Are you able to give guidance on those students where they can't see their exact course?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, great that you're looking into this. So on that start dates table, you should see the very top of the table. It's got the general start dates. So most of the courses that don't have an unusual start date or an unusual deadline. If your course isn't mentioned separately, it just means that you follow those. But you can always check on your actual offer letter because it'll have your course start date on that. But yeah, if your course isn't mentioned individually, then it just means that your course follows the general start dates and deadlines. But thank you so much, everybody. That brings us to the end of the hour now, everyone. We've had some brilliant questions. We've really enjoyed hearing your feedback as well, and it's nice to see you all chatting to each other in the chat too. Colleagues, if you do need to exit for other meetings now, please feel free. I'm just going to play a short exit video while me and Jess finish up any typed questions. But Gabe and Helen, thank you so much for giving up your time today. It's been really useful hearing from you and having all the guidance as well.
Thank you, Kat, and thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you. So if you do still need help with anything, please do check out the pre-arrival guide on the website if you haven't already explored that. Just go to hearts.ac.uk, search pre-arrival, or you can follow in any of the links of the emails we've sent you recently as well. There's a lot of information in there, more than we can get through in an hour's session, and we do cover other things like tips for navigating the airport, packing checklists, what to do in your first week, links to the events calendar, and much more as well. If you are still struggling though, please do reach out to us at international@hearts.ac.uk, and for anything urgent, do give our UK team a call as well. And we're also going to be posting up some tips and reminders on social media, so do feel free to follow us on those channels too if you want to. But thank you so much, everybody. It's been a pleasure having you in the audience today, and we can't wait to welcome you to the campus in January.